I have a ghost story, one that begins at Bly Manor. Not all as it seems at the manor. Centuries of dark secrets waiting to be unearthed, where soon the Wingrave children will learn. At Bly, dead doesn't mean gone.
It's spooky season, baby, and this video is sponsored by Netflix. I am beyond excited for the newest chapter in this haunted series, The Haunting of Bly Manor. I absolutely loved the previous chapter, The Haunting of Hill House, which I happened to watch entirely within 2 days. I could ramble on and on about how much this is a beautiful gothic romance, incredibly inspiring to me. It is chilling, suspenseful, eerie story, but in this video, I will be showing you how to turn yourself into Viola, who is one of the manor's many mysteries, as well as a doll look inspired by this amazing scene in the trailer. But we are going to begin with Viola, starting with my foundation, which I applied pretty heavy for this look. Totally optional, you don't have to apply it this heavy. I also applied powder to make sure that everything was settled in. Go ahead and apply eye primer. I then applied a very light shade of eyeshadow to my lids, making sure that I keep her eyes very light and beautiful. I'm then applying light brown shadows to my lids, again keeping my eyes very light feeling. This is mainly considering that you don't really see that much eye makeup during the Elizabethan era, which this character is based in the series. I then applied a little bit of liquid eyeliner just to frame my eyes, as well as to be able to blend in my false lashes later. If you're not using false lashes, you don't really need to put the eyeliner on. For my brows, knowing that I wanted to wear a black wig, I made them black as well. I first filled them in with some black eyeshadow, then brushed them out to make them softer, and then filled in small lines using liquid eyeliner just to define them. Like I said, false lashes are definitely optional for this look. I just added some natural ones to make my lashes look fuller overall. For my lips, I lined them using a rose petal type color and filled them in using a more grayish, purplish, more towards dead looking color, but kind of still alive. After all, dead does not mean gone at Bly Manor. And of course, added some blush for our gothic romance story, which is one of the main troubles at Bly. It seems that those who reside at Bly Manor always seem to find themselves longing for lost love, which raises the question, how far would you go for the love of your life? On to my favorite scene in the trailer, which has me super hyped for who or what is causing the hauntings at Bly Manor. This portion of the trailer was so spooky and just inspired me to want to recreate a doll out of this scene in particular. Now, since I'm coming up with my own doll that I think would fit in this scene, I'm starting off by covering up my eyebrows using a washable glue stick. It's not really gonna matter how smooth you get them, more so that at least parts of them are covered. I'm going for an older looking doll anyways. The story that's being told in The Haunting of Bly Manor is actually taking place in the 1980s, but I'm going for a much older look on the doll, more so to match the history that is unfolding within the manor. I'm then applying my normal foundation, more so because I like to have a layer of foundation underneath my body paints. Now, I also know that I wanted my doll face to appear as though it is a mask on my face. So using brown eyeshadow, I first created the shadow that is going to be underneath the mask that we are going to paint on, really just creating a line across my forehead. You'll understand more later. Using liquid eyeliner, I also marked in where my eye holes are going to go. And filled in my face using cream colored body paint, and here is where we are careful not to cover up the shadow that we just created, but to kind of cut a line in between it, which helps it make it look like a shadow from the mask. Using light gray eyeshadow, I'm then going around my new eye holes for the mask, which is going to add a more 3D effect and push my eyes back. It's always easier to start with a lighter gray and go darker as opposed to going right in with a dark color. I'm also going to chisel out where my rounded cheeks are going to go and just overall dirty up the mask. A lot of the placement of the shadows within this mask is not particularly in any spots other than around the eyes and underneath the cheek. The rest of it is more so just adding some life or death, I guess, to the mask. And as I continue to shade the mask, I then move on to a darker gray, and eventually little bits of black throughout the mask. The main areas that you want to concentrate the darkest are right around the eyes. To make the cracks on the mask, I'm then using liquid eyeliner. Any place that I just randomly put some eyeshadow on the mask, I'm just very lightly following the outline of it. This helps make sure that your cracks are more random. No matter what you do, you want to be very light-handed with your cracks. You can then go back where any cracks connect and make a little tiny hole in the center of them, as if a little tiny piece has chipped out. I'm then applying blush to my cheeks as patchy as possible. This is an old doll, not a perfect doll. And speaking of it being an old doll, I also added some brown eyeshadow just to make it look a little more dirty. Go ahead and prime your eyes. And pat in black eyeshadow. This does not need to be perfect. Try to keep it as much in the center as you possibly can, but also kind of blend it around the edges. This is going to help with highlighting later. For my lips, I outline them using a light pink, making them more round in the center and more baby doll-like. I also didn't want to make them too bright, so I patted on some of the cream body paint on top, and outlined them very slightly using brown eyeshadow. One of my favorite parts of all body paint looks is highlighting. Adding a highlight to one side of the cracks is going to make them pop a lot. You can also use white eyeliner on the tip of your nose, on your lips, as well as to outline around your eyes. For some finishing touches on the mask, I just added a little more shadows where I felt like they needed to be, as well as highlighted around the outside of the mask. And I know that I'm going to love The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I'm actually gonna go watch right now. The Haunting of Bly Manor is now streaming, only on Netflix.